not quite sure if us selling that bit of land is going to make any difference to him actually parking. When I've been past, every time I go past Fairways, there's always 8 to 10 cars parked outside there, and you're not going to get 8 to 10 cars unless it builds a multi-storey on it into that. So I'm not too sure really. Personally, I feel if we're selling land that the parish council owns, we then can't have any guarantees that nothing else will happen to that land. If he wanted to extend his garage, which is fair enough, if he wants to do that, it's his land he could do that, then you'd have a functioning garage right next to the cemetery, so which is working during the day, you know, as we all know, all funerals are during the day. That doesn't sit really well with me, to be honest.
It kind of disrupts the peace a little bit in terms of what the cemetery is there for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I know here it talks about leasing, that's an option. I mean, that should be, well, for me, that seems the sensible way of doing this, of leasing it for a year or whatever to see what the impact is and then making a decision after that.
Stephen and then Andy, yeah.
It does say that it's taken measurement 16 feet from the gate post. Is the gate post actually the boundary? That property was built by Mr. and Mrs. Foxton about the early to mid 1950s. They previously lived in the house next to it, One Ash. It's now been made into flats. Underneath the fencing, which on the left-hand photograph, there's the interwoven fencing or something on the top. But then there's a brick retaining wall underneath. And just look as if why they would have put the boundary there if the actual boundary to the land was further down.
Okay, thank you. Andy, are you wanting to come in after? Yeah.
Well, I was just...
Sorry, Stephen, have you finished?
More or less, although I think a couple of years ago there were vehicles parked along there, which some seem to have been removed.
Okay, Andy, yeah.
Well, I was just going to say the same as Ian, that I think actually I'd suggest putting that, because I think obviously they'd be involved in a cost to make it usable as a car. But I would certainly propose leasing rather than selling, partly because of what John said. We retain control, gives us a bit of income each year, even if it's not very much. But it does mean that it still belongs to the parish council, and we do have a little bit of a say over what goes on with it. As long as it's a long enough lease, because obviously it would take a bit of investment for them to make it usable, I think, so it's got to be long enough lease for them to get a return on whatever would be involved. But that would be my proposal. We're not using it at the moment. We wouldn't lose anything in the short term by handing it over, but if in the long term we felt we needed it, we've got a lease and we could call it back.
Can I just check, is that a formal proposal or is it just commentary at this stage?
I'm not looking for it to be a formal proposal, but I can wait for other people to say yeah, sure.
Yeah. Sarah and then Sharon.
Yeah, I was sort of going along with that, leasing with conditions, and one of the conditions, whether it's one of the outcomes, whether it's us who do it or whether it's the garage that does it, is there must be a substantial hedge between the edge of the plot and the cemetery. I don't know what we put in there, mixed hedge or whatever, but there needs to be a substantial barrier, so we'd have to put in fairly big, hedging plants so that, it was substantial hedging fairly soon.
Sure. Sharon and then I'll bring Sharon.
That's what I want to sort of say.
Sorry, Sharon and then...
It's basically what Sarah said about, I think it's a good idea because it's bad on that corner when you come round, there's a lot of cars parked on the road. So that the lease is really clear about what you can do with that piece of land and, talking about knocking the wall down. It's a big thing, isn't it, knocking down after stone wall down, what we replace with the scalpings and what have you, and I think the hedge is an excellent idea. So I don't know whether within the lease all of that can be included, so that there's no what's the word, getting round. You know, we don't want the land to be ruined, do we? We want it to be used properly.
Yes. Yeah. Sean, and then I'll bring to it. Yeah.
My concern is only going to be 46 car parking spaces, and that does separate the cemetery from the garage. So, look, is it worth going to all that trouble? Well, at least it's got the conditioning on them, messing about. Is it worth going to all that trouble because that's a nice little area that separates already? And they said they'd few small trees, well, there's no established trees at Fonstroke at that.
Yeah, I
It's a
mean,
nice little, I've been there regularly, but it's a nice little area for birds and things, as it is. Well, we haven't got much land, should we even considering selling it or renting it?
fair comment. Fair comment. John, yeah.
I was just thinking in terms of if we put forward a proposal in principle to lease the land, then we would have to instruct the clerk to engage our solicitor to draw up an agreement. So we're looking at some expenditure there because we've got to be, like everybody said, we've got to be sure that the land is going to be used for what we deem it has to be used for. So we are talking about some expenditure. And if we can't really go back to the guy and say, well, we're going to look into it, and we might, you might be able to, you might not be able to. You want an answer to thing. I think buying it. I don't think anybody's in favour of selling it, but we still have to have an agreement. We still have to have a rental agreement. So we're looking at just to point that out.
Yeah. Andy again.
I mean, in relation to that, I suppose I was just thinking that we'd go to him and say, we will offer you a lease, would you be interested in a lease? And he might say, no, I only want to buy it, in which case that finishes it.
That's probably, yeah. I think that's probably the best.
Yeah.
If we instruct the
So that we're not incurring any cost at that stage.
Okay. So for all that. So in terms of the proposal then, are we sort of suggested as a council that we go back to Fairways in terms of suggesting we'd be open to looking at a lease. Depending on what the response back from that, we can then delegate the responsibility to the clerk to start with that process and come back to council as needed. Would that be acceptable? Is that clear to everyone as well?
Yeah.
Is that enough instruction? Yeah. Okay. Sean, quickly.
Just like if they did take a lease on it and the time after that, part of the council, we want to make sure that they're responsible when the lease is up and to remove that down and put it back as grassland as well, things like that.
Yeah. That would be part. These could all be part of the lease conditions and so on. Yeah.
So my initial chair, just to confirm, is to communicate with the owner of Fairways to say that the council have reviewed and they're potentially open to exploring a lease. Make it clear that it won't be sold. It's an exploration of the lease, and with their interest, if it's there, well, I'll bring it back to council either way, but that's how it will come back to council for a next step.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I get a proposer and seconder for that one, please? Andy proposing, Ian seconding. Any votes in favour, then, please? Are you in favour or?
No.
No. Nearly all in favour. Against?
I think I'm against.
Against. So who's against? Thank you. Excellent, no worries. Okay, so item 12. So, thank you, by the way.
Christmas, everyone.
Yes. So item 12, to note the departure of our long-standing office volunteer and their contributions over the last 3 years in digitising Ackworth Cemetery's records. And was it as part of this that we discovered various things that have been stored away, and we found all sorts of things.
Do you want to say
Yeah, we're going to come to Gemma first, because obviously...
That's right.
Yeah, of course.
So the lady that we're talking about is Jill. Jill has moved away now, out of Yorkshire, closer to be with family. But what I would like to point out is that Jill has been with us longer than what I have. Jill's been here for the last 3 years, in the capacity that I've known her as the volunteer that's digitalising the cemetery records. Over the past 3 years, when I've done a calculation, she's up near 900 free volunteer hours. And Jill has, in the last 18 months, and I'm sure the last 3 years, attended our office no matter what we're doing. I think when we were doing the refurb, if we could have let her come in there and have a desk, she'd have been there with us. And over the years, especially the last 18 months, she has become a member of the team. It's the little things people say, you know, if we're short on milk and she's coming in, she'll ring us, do you need any milk? Then she'll bring us some milk in so we can have a cup of tea. It's for me anyway, it's the moments of madness where there's paper everywhere and I'm trying to get packs together and do X, Y and Z, and Jill's there saying, put the kettle on, should we have some cake? And it's all those little bits and pieces that humanise the role and stops it being transactional. Not only that, she has had to have determination in actually finding the old books and the records, which in the new year I do plan to share with you and show you. And it's almost become a skill in translating old handwriting in itself. And you know, some of the days she's sat there looking at these old books, trying to work out who's in what grave and who's connected to who and whatnot, just to try and get all of our records online. When I started 18 months ago trying to find a cemetery record for somebody that was coming to the office to find something, whether it be sort of a family tree search or other, you know, looking for deeds because another person unfortunately has passed away and they're looking to see who the owner is. I literally had to go to an old little book and try and work it out, take me to this book, take me to this book. Now all I have to do is type into my search bar at the bottom the person's name and it pops up and I open it and it's there. And then she's done that and she's also then gone into our Realtus financial software and she has manually keyed in all of that information. So not only can I find the original paperwork on our Realtus system, it now all links through together. There's still a little bit left to do, which she wasn't quite happy about leaving us something left to do. And she has assured me actually when she comes to visit she's going to pop back in and out. She's still doing it. But I know that sometimes obviously as councillors you don't always get to come into the office and see all the staff. But I just wanted to really highlight the joy that Jill has definitely brought to myself over the last 18 months and the sense of calm on the crazy pack days. So that was my little speech.
Yeah, thank you very much, Joanne. I'm sure we all sharing those thoughts and everything. Can I just check, did she discover the check that a very old former parish council didn't catch? So
she was on that day, yeah.
She was
You just all the secrets now. So we basically, whilst we've been cleaning out all of the filing cabinets, we've found a chest of treasure, all sorts of stuff. In that cupboard over there, there's a random bell that we found. So in the new year, we're going to get it all out and let councils have a look at it and then work out what agendas things need to go on to obviously safeguard it for the future. But in there is a very, very old Barclays bank cheque.
Amanda,
can I suggest that we perhaps send her a bunch of flowers from the chair's allowance to say thank you for everything?
I think that's what do, wasn't it?
that's fine. Is there any allowance left? Sarah, yeah?
And also a little sort of letter card taking, you know, some of the points that Gemma's made about how invaluable Jill has been and how much appreciated.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. Sean and
Send her a
Steve.
voucher for Christmas as well, some flowers.
She has actually been included on that. Yeah. We did that last year as well.
Yeah, Stephen.
All the old records for the graves in All Saints Church were lost. They shed at the back of the church burnt down 100 years ago. So for a lot of them now, they don't, the headstone's not there, they don't know where people are buried. So at least there is some record of it for that.
It's on the cloud.
You needed a drill before it burned out. Any other comments? No, John, yeah.
Just make a personal comment. It's my sister-in-law we're talking about. She's thoroughly enjoyed it. She's think it's been really, really nice for her to be able to do that. She's enjoyed the office team and everything, doing the work. Most of all, she reads a lot of crime novels and she likes piecing things together. And she said it was like a massive jigsaw puzzle doing this and finding out, because sometimes people have their ashes scattered on the ground, or piecing all these things together over a long period of time in the history of Ackworth. and seeing names cropping up and different people being buried in different things, joining it all together, she really enjoyed that. So it's been cathartic for her, as well as good for the team and the parish council. So thank you from her.
Yeah, thank I think we can definitely say thank you. We've been very lucky to have had her to do all that work.
We tried to hold on to her. We kept telling her that she could live with us, but she moved.
So can I just check? So we've got I've forgotten where the proposal came from. Amanda, was it flowers? And she's already included in the voucher, so we don't need that.
And Sarah said a letter of thanks.
And a letter of thanks. Okay, so I'll take Amanda and Sarah's proposal and second to them, because that's what we're putting forward. Votes in favour then, please, on that. All in favour? You imagine someone voting against? That would be it. So, would it? Okay, so where we are. Item 13 then. To know the office closure over Christmas and New Year periods from Monday 23rd December 2024, reopening on Friday 3rd of January 2025. Any comments on that? No? What's open?
Thursday, 2nd of January, it says here. Not Friday, 3rd.
It does say that, Sarah, but the staff won't be back until the 2nd because the office is closed on a Thursday.
Oh, right, well, it says
Yeah.
3rd there.
The library will be back on the Friday,
Right, okay.
on the Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we're just noticing that. We're happy to note that. Yeah, thank you. Item 14, motions requested by councillors. So this is one that's been deferred a little while, so this is Sharon's motion. To receive a proposal from Councillor Maiden in relation to the delegation of operational tasks to councillors to enable staff team support and workload volume peaks around events and projects. Want to speak on this, Sharon? Yeah.
Almost forgotten what I've written really. Yeah, it's in two parts because there's sort of a paper hands-on part to this proposal and then an in-person part to it. And it was just really looking at what the staff are doing on a day-to-day basis and all the extras that they have to do on top of the normal job for supporting us as councillors. So the first part really is about all those little bits of time that you try and add on. This is the stuff I'm talking about right away, that you try and add into your day, such as, I've given examples there about putting posters up, delivering items, collecting things for staff, that actually takes them away from doing some of the actions that we've asked them to action on our behalf. They're then spending time running to Home Bargains to pick up things for Santa Day, or do you know, that sort of thing. So that's a really sort of practical part of us being more involved in the community. So that I suppose is really me saying I would propose that we as councillors become more involved with that side of the staff's job and offer any time that we have, whether it be 10 minutes, an hour, whatever you've got, to complete any tasks that Gemma as clerk would share with us whenever she feels that she needs some extra doing, that we would be there to, if we've got time. I know a lot of people work, but so if any of us could give any time to support with any of that side of community involvement. And then the second bit of it is the bigger one really, and it's basically on the back of discussions we've had through the year and with the staff about involving schools and community groups within the village. And I know that's been really challenging for Emma and for the other members of staff, because it's a big job, you know, trying to involve busy people, busy schools, busy community groups. And I just feel that there's an untapped resource here of people who could fill little gaps, big gaps, however many gaps, that we can offer as a council, and also raise the profile of Ackworth Parish Council so that we can share with a wider audience what we do, how we do it, why we do it, and perhaps then encourage people to have more of a part in the gala. You know, we talked about schools becoming more involved in the gala, and they're finding that really difficult because the pressures that put on them. But if we could actually go out there and share what we do and try and with Emma, you know, I'm not saying we do it by ourselves, it's not us, it's through Emma and other staff, and just be supported in that way so that we can share the burden really. And about building up positive relationships, I think, all year and not just at specific events plonked in the year. Like Santa's a very good time of year, isn't it? Christmas and lights switch on and the gala, but it's 12 months in a year, not just 3. So that was it basically. Is that, do you get everything?
Yeah, totally get that. Thank you, Sharon. I think we all share in that sense. I can just as well note as well there are a lot of contributions made by councillors as well.
There is, I'm not saying there isn't,
be,
I'm just saying.
But I do get what you're saying.
You know, I think it's an opportunity for us. We've got to the end of the year, we've got 2025 coming on, and I think we can be energised and, you know, through the part, letting her know that we're here, if there's anything that she wants us to do or get involved with, if we can, if we've got that capacity, we're here to do it.
Yeah.
If we can.
Yeah, thank you. So that's Sharon's proposal there. I'll get a seconder first of all, but John's going to second, and I guess you want to come in as well.
Yeah, I think we have made a lot of strides forward in last year or so. We've got the thing on the back of the latest publication was our responsibilities as a parish council and what Wakefield's responsibility for Ackworth. I found at the weekend that there were lots of people were coming in with the little kids to see Santa and saying, oh, we didn't know this were here, we didn't know this.